So I'm going to get things kicked off by briefly introducing myself, and I'm going to give Kate and Pete a chance to introduce themselves for some context. I have a general plan for where we're looking to take this conversation, but I'm really going to be building upon, I think, what all the other speakers here today have touched on. Really nice flow. I think that we're all going to get a lot out of this conversation. So like David just mentioned, my name's Gavin. I'm the partner and acquisition manager here at Logical Position. Been here now for 8 years, which is starting to make me feel old. And yeah, work actually very closely with these two. I'll give a little bit of context for the relationships that I have with these two great people in front of me. I've known Pete since, gosh, Pete, when did we first meet? What year?
Can you guys hear me okay? Just want to make sure the mic is good. We met in college.
2012?
2012, yeah.
2012. We were babies. No, me and Pete go back years and years, close to over like a decade now, which is pretty wild to think. But I am going to let Pete introduce himself a little bit more in depth. But I'm honestly really proud of Pete to see where we started and where we're currently at and what he's built at Right on Bracket. And I'm going to let him go a little bit more in depth on that. And then me and Kate have been working together now for 5 years on the partnership side, somewhere in there. And Kate's been a really trusted confidant for me whenever I have questions about ratings and reviews. Shopper Approved has been one of our longer standing partners, and we've done so much great work for so many clients. And I'm the third smartest person on the stage right now, which is why I'm not going to be talking a ton for the rest of the time. And I'm going to be letting these two lead us to the topics. But yeah, to get things kicked off, actually, I want to allocate equal time to both of you. So I'm going to be rotating back and forth. We're going to start with Pete. And this first question is kind of broad, so you can take this in any direction that you want to take it. Tell us about how Right on Bracket started. What was the initial when, how? Tell us about how Right on Bracket formed.
Yeah, so for everyone who doesn't know, I'm an employee at LP. I work here. I've been here for a little over 9 years. And when I started working here, I went to school for marketing and thought I knew a lot about marketing, and I didn't. It was hard to sell a product that I didn't know a lot about. So I created an e-commerce store, and I thought, hey, if I build my own website, if I start my own Google Ads account, if I start doing SEO, I can talk about it. I like that first world experience. So a real world experience. But about a year into making this website, we get a sale every once in a while, and I had a partner that would make the product and sell it. And then there was a day we got like 20 sales, and I'm like, this thing's working. And I started to actually put some money into it, some more time, and now we sell tens of thousands of brackets all over the country and even the world. And it's a really cool side business, like a passion project of mine. But what's cool is I can run that, and everything I've learned at LP, every client I talk to, and all that experience I put into my own business. And it's perfect for me because I can do both so equally. And that's where we are today.
Were you scared or surprised when you first had that big week or month?
There's two moments. There was the day that we started, companies were calling me and saying I've seen you guys around. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And we went to a trade show last year at the Builder Show in Las Vegas. And, probably over 100 people came by and said, oh yeah, we've used you guys. Oh yeah, we've heard of you guys. I'm like, this is crazy. So it's really cool to see your brand grow that much. And it's really cool to just see all that growth over the years and try so many different things. I'm excited to talk about the things we've done well, the things we haven't done well. But overall, it's been upward trajectory for years.
Yeah. And Pete's going to have a lot of good insight into the topic at hand, which is tech stacks. So we're going to be circling back around to that. But Kate, tell us a little bit about your kind of journey and path at Shopper Approved, and a little bit about what Shopper Approved does.
Cool. Shopper Approved, primarily we help online businesses, e-commerce stores collect ratings and reviews from their customers. We collect them at checkout as a customer is purchasing from a brand site. We're one of the few review companies who collects reviews that way. And because we're collecting right at checkout, we collect a lot of positive reviews as well, rather than waiting for a customer to have feedback and wait for them to find us to leave the review. I've been at Shopper Approved over 7.5 years. I initially started out managing our support team, so I am very versed with all of the onboarding a new brand, anything to do with an integration, billing, account management, all of that falls within our account management team. I was managing that team, and I've been in partnerships for 4 years now. So I work with Logical Position, other partners to help give our brands a way to work together. So work with other partners to help the brands grow.
Going to kick it back off over to Pete. Pete, when you're actually, first question, how often do you check Right on Bracket's analytics account or third-party data sources? How often are you in there?
Every morning.
Every
That's why
morning.
The alarm goes off, and then I look at it right in the morning.
In bed, checking the e-commerce dashboard. Is there anything in particular that you're looking at for key metrics to gauge?
Since we're on the West Coast, East Coast is already 3 hours ahead, so we'll have some orders already in the morning. But honestly, the thing I look at every day is orders coming in, because it's good to know like how if we have a really big order, what to do with it, or something's more complicated, and reviews. Kate and I was at dinner last night, and she was saying, "Oh, you get your reviews, every review on your phone, every review." I said, "Absolutely. If it's good, I want to see what they wrote. If it's bad, I need to know what they wrote." So it's the things I look at every morning are orders coming in, so we kind of know what to do, and then also I just love customer feedback. So I look at that every day, and I literally just got one.
He's not lying. I literally saw on the I saw the
Shopper
Gmail notification right there. So you're
Wow, that's crazy.
So you're getting live updates at all times.
All times, yeah.
How do you use that customer feedback to better improve operations and experience?
Yeah, so if you think of a bracket, right? A right angle bracket, there's ones right over there on that shelf. They hold a shelf, a countertop. It's a very boring product, right? There's nothing special. It makes cool things, but it's very boring. If you go to Home Depot, you'll see brackets and such. But what's cool is we make really specialty products now because of our customer reviews. There's no one better to talk to than a contractor or a builder that you work with that uses your products. They'll call us or in a review they'll say, "Hey, we love this product, but I wish right at the end it was beveled, or I wish it was a little thinner, or I wish it was a little bit longer here." And we've developed new products based off of customer feedback. We've changed our products based off of customer feedback. And what's kind of funny is I look at our competitors all the time and what are they doing? And it's good to kind of like not copy, but watch. They haven't changed anything in years. We're always adjusting our products based on what our customers tell us because, we're just manufacturers. We're not the people installing them. We need to listen to our contractors, our builders that are using them all the time. So, we've made auto parts, we've made specialty brackets based off of what our customers are telling us, and it's always changing. We're actually developing one right now for cabinetry that we wouldn't have made without a customer reaching out and said, "Hey, can you guys do this?" And we said, "Oh yeah, we can do that."
The interesting thing about what you're covering there is taking that feedback and implementing it, but those pieces of feedback sound relatively and generally positive. I'm actually going to kick it to Kate, because I think a common questions that brands have is, well, what do we do if we have a fake review or a negative review, or I'm curious if you guys have particular strategies that you use to maybe combat ones that might be a little bit on the edge for brands, and any strategies you use on that side?
Yeah, a few. I would say first, negative reviews are a good thing. They round out your overall score. Right on Bracket has a 4.9 rating, so they have some negative reviews sprinkled in there. But like Pete said, you can use that for feedback. Also, it's more trustworthy to have a score like 4.3 to 4.8 stars. Nobody's really going to trust if you have a perfect 5-star rating all across the board. So first, I think negative reviews really are a good thing because they show that real people are leaving these reviews and this is real feedback. Along those lines, I think as a consumer, you don't really know what sites to trust or how trustworthy the website is or if the reviews are even real. I think that's a really common misconception when you think about reviews is this even a real review that somebody's leaving? So when you see somebody like Right on Bracket with a 4.9, it lends more trust to it. And as far as combating fake reviews, we have seen that in the industry before. I've actually, on the support side, had to shut down sites that I've seen abusing the service. So we have checkers in place to make sure there aren't any fake reviews. And then finally, for negative reviews, you can use it as feedback, but you can also respond to it. So you can say, like, sorry that you've had this experience. What can I do to help? And try to get that customer to have a more positive experience moving forward by fixing the issue that they had previously commented on with the review.
One thing I wanted to add to that, and I would recommend anybody's going around to booths or chatting with other LP employees, chat to people about how SEO is going to be impacted in the next few years with reviews and reputation management. I think this ties in perfectly to kind of the ChatGPT AI conversation we were just having. Your reputation and your reviews are more important than ever, because a lot of times what people are searching, show me the best, show me something that has the best review. And this holds for lead gen or e-commerce businesses. Making sure that you're aggregating and collecting those reviews is massive. Now, to shift gears slightly, because technically this isn't just a shopper approved just hype session, we do want to talk about kind of a full tech stack here. I was going to kick it back over to Pete, because Pete, I know you mentioned to me even in side conversations that you really treat your e-commerce store like a store, picturing it almost like a physical location that somebody would come into, and making sure that checkout is smooth, making sure that you have loyalty programs. What else do you have on your site? Obviously, you're using Shopper Approved. Anything else that has been a game changer for you in the brand on a tech stack side?
Real quick, can I talk about the negative reviews really quick?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So if anyone gets a negative review, if you have an e-commerce store out there, it's super frustrating. If I get a negative review, I will immediately call them and say hello, and try to figure out what happened. For us, a lot of times our brackets are really heavy. Like we'll ship a 70-pound box somewhere, and the chance of that getting a little beat up, it happens. So if they said, "Oh, it's all scratched up, something happened," I'll say, "Cool. How about I'll send you a return label, I'll send you a new pair, and we'll make sure they're extra padded." And it's kind of cool. Like we'll get some like really positive reviews that are started, because in Shopper Approved you can change a review, and I've had some really bad ones, and then they'll comment on that and say, "Hey, I had a bad experience, but the owner reached out to me and we fixed the problem, and now I got my products and it's great." I think you can do a lot. Like when you get a negative review, you can use it in a positive. Reach out to your customer, figure out what happened. Now, for some businesses, you're so big that it's kind of hard to do that, but you need to have someone reach out and try to do something to maybe correct it, and it works really well. But to your point with having a storefront, e-commerce, in my opinion, is an absolute beast to handle. For like a lead generation company, you can have a website with a contact form, a phone number, and you can do pretty darn well. But with e-commerce, there's just so much going on. And you need to treat it like, and this is something that I see a lot of companies not doing, is you go into a store, like a specialty store, a boutique store, or a big store, they watch everything, how the customer comes in, where are they going, what aisles are they going down. And a lot of e-commerce stores are not doing that. And they don't actually view how the products pop up, how are our photos, how's the checkout process. And if you watch all that, I try to do my best. We're going through some website changes now because of the same reason. There's some weird spots I don't like. You give your customers a really good experience like a store would, then you're going to do just fine. You're going to do better than your competitors. And that's where I think a lot of this is going, is if you treat your store, online store, like a real store, like people do, sweep the floors, make sure everything's looking nice, it's gonna do great.
Yeah. What web platform are you on currently?
We're currently on WordPress WooCommerce.
Okay. And any plans to shift?
We're looking at moving over to Shopify. Reason being is, for us, we've had some issues with our theme crashing and just having some like bottlenecks. And so we need something a little more reliable. We looked at some other platforms, but just based off of what we need, I think it'd be perfect for us. So we're making the transition right now.
Okay. And then are there any tools that you're looking to install right off the bat after that site transition?
I got to talk to a lot of people here about that. A lot of what I would say that a lot of what we currently use is great, but I'm currently looking for 3PL services. It's something to change up a little bit for shipping. I think I might be talking to someone here about that soon. But yeah, that's what it's a work in progress, I'd say.
Hey, you're in the middle of the process. Yeah, and one thing that Ryan mentioned, which I think really should resonate with everybody, is always look to evaluate and improve. Don't trust the thing that you did 5 years ago is going to continue to be the solution. Consistently evaluating, and it sounds like you're in the process of that right now, is paramount if you're looking to see continuous improvement. Kate, I'm curious. I mean, you work and Shop Approved works with so many vendors and so many brands. Are there any other tech providers that you would highlight that either you've had a good experience with or you've heard good things from clients that you think are really important to install on an e-commerce site?
Yeah, good question. I would say the number one request service that we had outside of carts is Klaviyo. We have a ton of mutual clients with Klaviyo, so that when we were building out integrations, that's the very first one that we built out. There's a couple other like really unique tech companies in the space right now that I think are doing cool things. Postpilot is one. They send out postcards, so you can build that into your existing like Klaviyo Flow, Attentive Flow, that sort of thing. I really like Bridge. They're a company that helps bridge the gap between online and offline. So if you have an e-commerce store looking to get in stores, Bridge is a cool one. So those are a couple unique ones that I think are flying under the radar right now to watch out for.
And I would reiterate, most of the partners here today fill those needs. Go around to the booths, ask questions. This is going to be the place to really learn about a lot of these tools that people can look to install. Now, we've kind of been talking about the past and the present here so far, and we have a little bit of time. I wanted to cover the future, and I think both of you guys are pretty well equipped to talk about where you think e-commerce is going as a whole. If you think that there's going to be new tools that are going to be developed to improve operations, to improve site navigation. We'll start with Pete since we're kind of going back and forth here. Pete, I'm kind of curious if you have anything on the horizon that you think is going to be developed that's going to greatly improve your life and your ease of operation. Heck, maybe you're using new tools now. Just paint me a picture of where you think this whole thing is going.
It's a really good question because, I've been kind of shocked by some stuff that's been released. I guess I would say that it's a little bit of everything. Kind of what I mentioned earlier, a lot of competitors that you may have won't be doing very innovative things. And, being in this kind of industry for almost 10 years, like I've seen the most changes probably in the last 3 or so. And I've seen a lot of companies really adopt that and really lean into really good web design, AI, great marketing and outbound. And if you just invest in a little bit of everything, you're going to do just fine. Because a lot of competitors, I think we're going to have a lot of companies honestly fail because they don't adopt a lot of the things coming into today's world. And a lot of companies are going to rise up. I would also say that, well, for us at least, we're looking at a lot of product image stuff. We have some pretty weird looking brackets that you wouldn't just know what they do. And I think being very, showing customers how they install, how to do it correctly, not correctly. That's something we're working on right now to make it a little bit easier for customers to understand what they need. We get a lot of people reaching out saying, hey, I bought the wrong thing. I need this instead of this. If we did a better job of, showing how this product is installed, they might not have made that mistake. So interactive photos, more videos, using AI to demonstrate how the products are installed. That would be a really cool thing down the road for us.
Okay, same question for you. Where do you think this is headed? What tools do you think are going to be on the horizon? Heck, is Shop Approved working on anything for the upcoming years?
Yeah, we have some things. As a whole, I feel like we've already started to make a shift towards this, like a consumer profile that you're starting to see. As a consumer, I might like some social posts or click on an ad or search something up in Google, and those sorts of cookies and tags are tracking me to other sites. So I think we will start to see brands adopt that sort of consumer profile, so you can really target, even on the review side maybe, of this is a review that somebody wrote who fits a similar profile to you. Not that we're necessarily already developing that, but I do see that kind of being a thing in the future. Some of the tools we have a really unique AI optimized Q&A feature. So for Pete, what's an example of something somebody might ask about a bracket?
Do I need a 1/2 inch or a 3/8 thickness for this project?
Awesome. So that's something like a long tail search term you can put into Google, ask that question, and you would get right on bracket appear as a featured snippet as the first result because of the AI optimized Q&A feature. That question appears. So I asked a similar question this morning and saw right on bracket as the very first listed in search. So I think that's a really cool way to that we're using AI to help our brands.
I'm going to ask one more question of the panelists, and then I'm going to open it up to audience questions. So start thinking about your questions now. If you guys could offer one piece of advice to an e-commerce brand, boiling it down to one really important thing to remember to think about, what would be one and maybe the most important thing that you would offer? We'll start with Pete.
Yeah. It's more of a mindset thing because, with an e-commerce store, there's so much going on. Logistics, web design, marketing, your products, everything. I just say that, I've made so many mistakes and I've done some really cool things, but I've also made a lot of mistakes, but you fix them and you get better at it, and you learn. And so I think you just keep trying new things, try our partners here, different services. You're going to find companies that work really well with you, and quite frankly, some might not. It just depends on your brand and your product. But I would just say, just keep working really hard at basically developing your brand. And the other piece of it too is understand your brand, understand your product. One of my biggest pet peeves is when you go to an e-commerce website and it says, we sell products. And that's all it is. It's just products for sale. There's no brand behind it. There's nothing special. And if you understand your brand and what you're trying to portray, like for us, we want people to understand that we make our brackets in America by hand with steel from America. You're buying an American-made product. When you install it, we want people to be proud of that. And that's what I want people to feel when they buy our products. That's the brand we're putting out. And instead of just, hey, here's a right angle bracket, good luck. It's if you have that behind you and you take a chance and you really just try all these different things for your brand, you're going to do way better than your competitors. I see a lot of companies out there having lackluster efforts, and if you just try really hard, you're going to do just fine.
I'm going to let you answer in 1 second, but just to add to what Pete said, this is actually one thing that me and Ryan talk about a lot, the idea that if you're too scared to try something, you're never going to improve and nothing's going to happen. That you need to test things out and you need to push the envelope. And a lot of these tech providers that are here today, you got to think about it in context of don't be too scared to test something. That's the only way you're going to figure out if it's going to work. And I know that that can be a little scary if you have something that's already working fine. But if you're looking to see that improvement, you have to make those decisions and you have to take those risks. So I wanted to add on to that and shout out Ryan, because that's one of the things that Ryan's taught me. Don't be afraid to break something, move fast, test it out. Shout out to Ryan. Kate.
Okay, going off of what Pete said, I really like brands who care about what they do. Like all of the brands that I'm personally obsessed with, it might be like a hair product that has a really nice smell or something like that. They've really put a lot of time and effort into the product that they're selling, and they really care about the service that they're providing. So I like that as a piece of advice for a new company starting out, is like show your consumers that you care about what you're doing, and I think the growth will come from that.
Okay, hopefully you've all been thinking about and stewing on the questions that you want to ask these two. If anybody has a question, raise their hand and I can come bring the mic to you. Perfect, front row. This makes it easy. I don't even need to go too far. You can get Pete's mic.
Pete, I'm Aaron. I have 3 questions. 1, are you primarily B2B for your sales? 2, are there bracket influencers? And three, this is probably where you line up as well. What is the number one offsite platform to pay attention to via reputation, and why is it Reddit?
Good question. Our customer base, a lot of contractors, a lot of builders. So that's the B2B side. But we have, Steve who's putting in a mantle. He needs 4 brackets, right? And it's B2C. So it's a little bit of both. We love our contractors and builders because here's another piece of advice. I think someone was talking about be involved with your customers. We started a Builder Plus program for our B2B clients where they get a deal, free shipping, and faster manufacturing time. And they order really big orders from us. We just had one of 1,000 brackets going to Las Vegas. And that's one where we need to make sure that we treat them really well. But the B2B ones are by far the most important. But I'd say that going to influencers, there's a lot of people online that do home improvement. There's a lot of people that are, I don't know about you guys, I love building. So for my Instagram feed, it's all like contractors, builders doing stuff. And they endorse products, they endorse like stuff they like. And if we can get in one of those videos where thousands of people can see it, I mean, that's huge. So there are, influencers for a right angle bracket or whatever bracket, right? It's boring, but it creates really cool things. And so, yeah, I think most products do have influencers of some kind. Some are more popular than others, but yeah.
Do they do dances? Do they do little cute?
I haven't seen a
Move?
contractor do any
Okay.
dances yet, but
Listen, you never know. Maybe there's some bracket dances that people are doing out there. Listen. And then your question around off-site reputation platforms?
From someone who's been in the game for a while on reviews, I'm just really curious about the offsites and how those now interact with SEO and with AEO. And if you have a left and right limit and SOP on how to handle those offsite sources that do like massively impact who shows up and how the systems like present you to other people.
Totally. We have a tool, Review Destinations, that allows you to redirect a portion of your reviews that you're collecting to other open source platforms. So like a Trustpilot, Facebook, Google Business Profile, those sorts of things. So as customers are leaving reviews with us, we can redirect them to actually leave that review on some other platform. And this is actually we've released a new tool, Reputation Management, that is sort of an elevated version of that. So we've had brands who manually go in and select like what platform they want to leave the review and what percentage every time somebody leaves a review. Reputation Management now automatically tracks that. So you can put in all of the different places that you want to improve your reputation score, your online reviews. Let's say you want to get them all to a 4.2. The Reputation Management tool continues to work on each one until they're all at a 4.2, and then it boosts them up to a 4.3. So it will continue to leave those reviews until it's at a 4.3. So a different way to not just collect reviews for your site, your company reviews on like Google Ads and within Shopper Approved, but other sources, all sources that you can use online.
Good question. 3-parter. Let's go. That's great. We do
should
have
get a
time
coin for this.
I was going to say extra point. We got a few questions in the back. Emmy, if you want to.
You had mentioned improving the site based on user feedback and behavior. Are you guys using, or would you recommend any like CRO tool like Microsoft Clarity, or do you guys use sort of CRO tool like that?
I don't use any specific tools for myself, at least. I have used tools where you have a heat map on the website to see how people navigate. I've even reached out to some of our best customers. I'll say, hey, are there any bottlenecks with ordering or anything? I like real customer feedback and get on the phone with someone I don't really know and having walking them through and get that. But personally, we're going through the web design change now. So for me, I probably will get into that world pretty soon where with a new design, I'm going to need a lot of feedback while we're developing it. So for me, I don't have a lot of experience currently with that, but I'm probably going to embark on that pretty soon.
Second part, if I can. What on Shopify are you using, like a page builder or a theme?
For Shopify, we're currently developing the site. It's not live yet. We have a development site that's live. I have a web designer that helps us with it. We currently are basically taking our site on WordPress and just trying to copy it over to Shopify just to get to the new platform. And from there, we're probably going to start developing it because I fear that moving to a new platform is, first of all, it's a big deal. But if you just change the entire theme, the entire design for your customers, it could mess some of it up. So I want it to look very similar, and then we'll start to change it from there. I'm working with a developer that is partnered with LP, and I also do a lot of it myself. So I'm just trying to plug away at it slowly but surely.
Thanks.
We got one more in the back, I believe.
So I'm really curious. You are in the process of migrating from or replatforming from WooCommerce over into Shopify. Is there anything that you've tried to like some of that data, especially in WooCommerce, can get kind of spaghetti? Is there anything that you weren't able to replatform that's really difficult that you were hoping would be a magic solution in the Shopify app space or something like that? Any challenges there or not quite yet?
I would say the biggest fear I have with that change, so we exported all of our data and we have all that saved. But the biggest fear with the migration is honestly our content and SEO. That's something where when we transition over, I do not want to take a big dive because I've been working with LP for SEO for a little over 6 years as a campaign, put a lot of money and time into our SEO work. So I can't have that dip. A huge source of revenue, and they've done a really good job of helping us with all our redirects and making sure all of our content moves over. The biggest thing I'd say with the website migration is to move slow. Don't have like a due date where you need it to be done. I know for some companies that might be hard, but ringing. But it can be hard. But you're going to run into a lot of problems, and if you work on it slow, you're going to be able to mitigate some of those problems. But to answer your question, I guess a little more straightforward. We've just exported everything off so that we have a file saved of everything, and then we'll migrate it over. And if we lose some of it, we have it elsewhere, I guess.
Okay. Thank you for the questions, everybody. I'm going to pass it off over to David, but give a big round of applause to Kate and Pete. Thank you for answering those questions.